And we're live. Welcome. And now I'm going to press a button, a magical button. And we are going to go live on Instagram as well. And now we're live on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter as well, and on my Facebook page also. Welcome, 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 anybody who's here. We've changed up the times. So just as I was getting onto a good run, doing 11:30 a.m. EST, 4:30 p.m. UK, I decided to make it difficult for myself and for you guys and switch things up and do this time instead. Okay, so I don't know who we're going to get coming in today, but regardless, obviously, like always, this is going to stay up on the channel. So if you're watching on the replay, hello, thank you for tuning in. The reason that I'm doing it at this time is because I've got something on in the afternoon. And actually, for the next few days, we're going to be doing these in the morning. So tomorrow, we are also going to do this time, which is in the UK is 9 a.m. I think it's like something ridiculous, like 4 a.m. In the US. It might be even earlier, actually, because we've had the time change now. Or maybe it's a bit later, actually. Maybe it's not as bad. But anyway, we're going to do them at this time. And then at the weekend too, Saturday and Sunday, we're going to do them at this same time. And then on Monday, I'm going to move it back to the original time. So we're going to do the afternoon as well, instead, rather, a bit later in the day. So, you know, let's see who comes along. Welcome. Jennifer's in. Good to see you, Jennifer. You are looking up high value women meaning. Yeah. I'm not really sure what it means. It's just something that people bang on about. You know, you're looking for a high quality woman and all this kind of thing. Yeah. So we are here. We are live. And if you're watching this on Instagram, welcome. But if you want to post comments, remember that I can't read your comments on Instagram. So if you want to post a comment or post a question or whatever, then you'll have to come over to YouTube. If you go to the link in my bio on Instagram, you will see my YouTube channel there. Come over to YouTube, hit subscribe, and you can then post comments and engage in the chat and all the rest of it. Today, we're going to be talking about finding a girlfriend and why in a game is important for that. And of course, remember, guys, the reason for this, the reason we're talking about in a game this week and over these 12 days of in a game, is because my course, CAD Academy, Charisma and Dating Academy, comes out tomorrow on the 5th of November. Remember, the 5th of November, CAD Academy comes out. It is the world's greatest in a game course. It teaches you all the mindsets and techniques that you need in order to become more attractive in dating. Let's put it that way, to help you iron out all of those dating issues that you might have. And let's face it, pretty good time to do it now, right? Because we're coming up to the Christmas season already certainly in London, the Christmas decorations are up. It's all looking very festive out there. And, you know, this is a time when there's a lot of parties, there's a lot of get-togethers, and also people want to meet and they want to mingle. So it's a good time to be learning this stuff. So if you've considered doing a course like this to help with your dating life, then I highly recommend that you get onto CAD Academy. It's a 10-hour video course, but not only that, also, if you go onto the right tier, you get to come along to 10 live Zoom webinar sessions that I am going to be leading on from the 15th of November to the 19th of November. So we're going to have a week of private Zoom webinar sessions, okay? And you will be welcome to come along. You can engage, you can ask questions, you can get involved, whatever. I'll put the link in the chat now. That's the link there. Go to that website, cadacademy.card.co. Go to that website, read all the information about the course, enter your email details, okay? And that gets you on the waiting list. And then you will get notification from me later on. You'll be able to join the course. It will be at a preferential rate and so on and so forth. So get on that waiting list now, whenever you're watching this. And perhaps it is good I'm doing this early because it gives people a chance to get on that waiting list today, because the course opens tomorrow. And if you're on the waiting list today, then you're going to have certain benefits from that. Okay, so go to that website, have a look. All the information's on there about the course. Any questions you've got, you can reach out to me, troy@realtroyfrancis.com, and we'll take it from there, guys. But look, what about finding a girlfriend? Because we have to bear in mind that people who come to this space for a variety of reasons, right? It's not all just degenerate playboys who want to just have sex with lots of different girls and never settle down and have no responsibilities and all that. It's not just those sorts of people. Amazingly, there are also many guys who, to be honest, maybe they want to have a bit of fun, maybe they want to date around for a bit, but really, in the end, what they're looking to do is to find a nice girl to be their girlfriend and have a good relationship, and that's kind of it. So those people, if that is your aim, if that's what you're looking to do, and nothing wrong with that, everybody has their own objectives, everyone has the things that they want, then you need probably certainly equally and maybe arguably even more than the guy who just wants to be a player. You need to have very, very strong inner game, and I'm going to explain why. And if you guys have got any questions or any comments or anything that you want to say, please just put those into the chat and we will deal with them as we go through. Okay. So if you want to get a girlfriend in 2021, going into 2022, what do you do? What is the process that you go through? Now, I was talking to a client about this last night, because you would think there's all these complaints we see online about so-called hookup culture and the superficiality, the shallowness of hookup culture, and the fact that women saying, well, where are all the good men? Where are the men who want to settle down? Where are the men who want to commit and show some responsibility and all of that? So you would think that getting a girlfriend, getting into a relationship ought to be relatively easy once you've sorted out, the dating side of things. Once you've got over your approach anxiety and you're starting to get dates and things, you would imagine that actually then getting into a relationship will be an easy matter. But that's not necessarily the case, okay? And the reason it's not the case is because we're all engaged in this slightly odd, I'll say battle. Maybe battle is the wrong word. We're all engaged in this slightly odd culture where we want immediate gratification. We want instant gratification, okay? And it's like that with everything. It's like Instagram, right? Where's the next post? Where's the next like coming from? Amazon, we want the stuff to be delivered the next day, or we want the stuff to be delivered the same day. Deliveroo, we want the food to come immediately. We want everything immediately like that. But on the other side of it, it's human nature that we don't value things that we can get easily. And when we can get something really easily, we tend to look at it askance and think, I got that thing really easily. Is it actually as valuable as I thought? So it's this weird dichotomy, because on the one side, society is feeding us instant gratification. We're getting stuff really quickly, and we're demanding to get stuff very quickly. We're demanding to get satisfaction in various ways very quickly, whether it's food, whether it's clothes, whether it's orders off Amazon, whatever, information from Google. We're demanding that stuff very quickly. But equally, we don't tend to value things that we can get easily. And this goes for men and women. This isn't something just about women. This is the same, I would say, for guys as well. So what does that mean? Well, what it means is that when you're out there in the dating marketplace, if you present as being someone who is just too easy to get, as someone who just is like, you meet the girl and you are immediately, or let's say almost immediately, in the first few months, you say to her, listen, I really like you. I think you're awesome. I really want us to be, together. I want us to be exclusive. if you come out and say that, unfortunately, in many cases, there's a good chance that you're going to scare that woman off, that she is going to get freaked out and think this guy is too full on. He was too much. It was too much too soon. And so, unfortunately, and counterintuitively, the women that we like the most and the women that we want to drop our guard for and basically say, listen, look, you're really cool. I really like you. I like this thing that we have together. I would like to solidify this. I want to spend more time with you. Ironically, if you do that, because of human nature, because anything that we can get to easily, we tend to value less. There's a possibility, quite a good possibility, that you're going to actually put that girl off, that she's actually not going to be as interested in you anymore because you seemed too easy to get. Okay. And this, let me just see if I can do that a little bit. And this, friends, is where the inner game side of things comes in, because where you need the inner game, well, there's two places where you need the inner game. You need the inner game, firstly, in order to meet these women in the first place, right? Because, again, talking to a client last night, lives in Los Angeles, he is going to go out and start doing approaches. He's going to go out and kickstart his dating life, right? And this guy, as it happens, is very proficient with this stuff. So for him, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. He's a little bit rusty, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But for many people who are starting to get into this stuff, who want to go out and about and start to meet new people, you're going to have the mindset tools in place to be able to go and do that bit, which is meeting the people, initiating it, asking her on a date, taking her on the date, all of that. You're going to have your mindset stuff in line for that. And this is a lot of what we cover in CAD Academy. But you're also, more importantly, going to have the mindset tools and the inner game, if you like, in order not to seem too keen when you're dating her. And Glory be Amen is here. Good morning, Troy. Good morning. Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I know there's some girls here, so if you want to put in the chat if you agree with what I'm saying or if you disagree or whatever, and if anybody's got any questions. There are fewer people in today because I've messed around with the times, which you shouldn't do. You shouldn't do. As a content creator, you should be consistent, really, and you should be doing the same time. And this is why John MLD has been very successful, because he's one of the reasons he's been successful, because it's always the same time, like 9 a.m. He comes on air and he does his show, and it's every day. So you need that consistency. But anyway, I've messed around with the times because I like to make things hard for myself. Right, Jennifer's saying this is all true. Okay, cool. Well, that's good. So we have confirmation from a real life woman that what I'm saying is correct. So you will need the inner game in order to hold back somewhat in the early stages of the relationship, the nascent relationship, because if you don't, there is a good chance that you're going to put her off, that she's going to get scared off. She's going to get freaked out. She's going to think this dude too full on. And then she's going to question your value, right? And this is the thing about value. Value is like a currency, in the sense that a currency, Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin really? It's not even a physical thing. It's an idea. It's a concept. You don't physically hold, right, I bought a Bitcoin and you physically hold it and you put it in the garage. It's not, it's a notion. Okay. But it has value because of the value that people attribute to it, right? Cryptocurrencies, same thing with fiat currencies as well. What is a US dollar really? It's just a piece of paper, or it's not even a piece of paper anymore. It's numbers on a screen. And it only has the value that people think it has. It has this perceived value. And it's the same thing really with your value. So when we talk about presenting as a high value man to, whatever woman it is that you're interacting with, that value in her perception can go up or down. You have to bear that in mind. It's like the disclaimer they put on investments, isn't it? Your investments may go up or down. And it's the same thing with your value as far as a woman you're interacting with is concerned. She may think initially your value is very high. She probably does initially believe that your value is very high, because otherwise, why would she hang out with you in the first place? Okay. She's only going to go on a date with you. She's only going to be responsive to your messages and things if she regards you as having decent value. So at the beginning, she's going to, you have impressed her enough with whatever you did at the beginning to make her believe that you have value. But that value isn't a static thing. It's not like, oh, I thought he had value in January, so now in March, I still think he has exactly the same value. It's very, very, very dependent on what you do and how you act. And as we know, because it often gets talked about on channels like this, is that women have a tendency to test men and to continue to test men as the relationship goes on. Okay, they keep testing and poking away to see if your value is real, if your value is real, or what it originally purported to be. And if she pokes and something gives way and it appears actually your value was less, then she's going to lose respect for you. She's going to lose desire for you. James Taylor, is that James from Nottingham? If it is, good to see you. How would you explain what inner game actually is? We did this, James, on whenever I started these on Monday. We already did a whole show where we talked about inner game, definitions of inner game, and so on and so forth. So if people who are watching this haven't seen that, then go back to, I've got a playlist of these, 12 days of inner game. Go back to the first one and we talk about definitions. We talk about what inner game actually is. But as a brief summary of that, inner game was a term originally that was taken from a book about tennis, funnily enough. And the idea is that there are everything that you do, you're playing two games at the same time. You're playing a game with the externals, which is in the case of tennis, okay, so how do I best hold the racket? How do I return this serve? What do I do if my opponent does X? How do I react? Those on-court, tangible, practical things. But then you're also playing an inner game, which is a game against yourself. And that game is the fight, the battle with your shadow side, if you like. It's the battle with those demons that you have, your fears, your insecurities, your questioning of yourself, your questioning of your ability. You're thinking she's too good for you, or you're not good enough, or whatever, in the case of dating. Okay, so there's always two games going on at the same time. There is when you're on the date with the girl, what are you doing on that date? Are you moving things forward in the correct way? Are you passing the tests that she's setting for you? But importantly, or even perhaps more importantly, is the game that is going on inside your own mind. How do you feel about yourself? Do you regard yourself as high value? Do you believe that you are worthy of her? Okay? Because if you don't, then she is certainly not going to buy into it, right? So that's my definition of inner game, okay? And yeah, good to see you, man. I hope you're well. We need to get in touch. We need to meet up. Let me know if you're going to be in London or anything in the near future. James and I have worked together a couple of times before. James was actually on the boot camp, or one of the boot camps that I did with Tusk in London, and there is actually some footage of him on this wonderful channel. If you look at the client experiences playlist, you'll be able to see he's in some of the London videos. So Gabrielle says, I think men that wear shorts and flip-flops to a corporate job and make six figures are low value. Well, it's an opinion. But I suppose it depends how you define value, really. It's certainly an opinion. I don't like flip-flops, really. Making money or making muscles, which is more important, or both the same? I don't know. Both about the same, I would say. Really, I mean, you want to have a healthy body, healthy mind and a healthy body, as they say. Although I'm sorry to say, guys, I haven't been to the gym for over a week, or done anything really for over a week, because I had this. I had a little bit of surgery done, and it's just knocked me out for a week. So, but I will be getting back into it shortly, or when the doctors allow. But yeah, you want to be looking after your fitness. I would say, if you had a gun to my head and you had to say which is more important, I would always say, and this is just my take, you should look after the fitness first. And the reason I say that is because without good physical fitness and good health, you haven't got anything. You're going to be in a much better position to go out there and crush it and make money and build a business and do whatever you need to do if you're also in good physical condition. I'm not saying you have to be massively jacked. I'm not saying you need to be like Paul of Apex Mindset or anything, but keeping yourself in good shape is a real fundamental. And I would say it's a fundamental above even making money. I would say the fundamental things really are keeping in shape, for dating, good grooming, and self-education. I would say those are the first things, the fundamental things, the stuff about you. How can I improve myself? Self-improvement, okay. And then the next step is, all right, so what am I going to do externally? And business and making money is there. But I mean, ultimately, both of them really. You want to be doing. You want to just, why not improve in every area? Why not improve in every area at the same time? Okay, we're getting some more people in now. So sorry that I changed the time on this, but it's unavoidable because I've got some stuff on this afternoon. The next few days, we're going to be doing this time. I mean, it's in the UK, it's 9 a.m. It's some ungodly hour in the US, and in Europe, it's a little bit later. So we're going to be doing this time over the weekend, tomorrow, Friday, and over the weekend. And then we'll likely move back to the later time slot. But I have some things on in the afternoon, so we're going to do these morning sessions. Right. Mackie says, when wanting to find a girlfriend, is your mindset concentrated on that task, or is it better to play around and then consider something if things go well? I would say the latter. Okay. And this is kind of what I'm coming around to talk about here, because the challenge you have is if you go around saying, right, I'm going to find a girlfriend, and that is your raison d'etre, it's likely to color the way that you act, and it is likely to make you seem perhaps more needy, or even if not needy, it's going to shine through in the sense that you have an agenda. And any sense of trying to force things in terms of making a relationship work, making a relationship stick, is going to have a tendency to put the girl off. It's going to have a tendency to be off-putting, for her to think, oh, this guy is just, he wants too much. The ideal thing, in my experience, is the latter, which is to say that you play around, you're having a good time. You're getting to know this woman, but there's no pressure on it. You're not saying to her after the third date, right. So what are we? Are we boyfriend and girlfriend? Or you're not trying to box it in. You're not trying to label it. You're just having a good time. You're relaxed, and ideally, she's going to be the one who seeks to formalize things with you. That's really the best way, when the girl actually seeks to formalize things with you rather than the other way around. Okay. So I would say the latter of those two. And that's really kind of the topic for today. Being more playful may set the non-serious tone from the start. Well, I don't really think it works like that, to be honest, because the girlfriends I've had, what has really happened is that we've always started off casually. We've always started off casually, and we've always started off, it's a bit of fun. And what then tends to happen is you spend more and more time with that person. You start to realize that actually you've got a lot in common, or you just get on really well, or, there's just something between you, which is more than the norm, let's say. And you end up spending more time together, and it morphs into a more serious relationship. I don't think it's as simple as, because it's about emotion. It's not about what you say. I mean, like at the beginning, you can be really playful, but it's about the emotion that you evoke. She might really like you though, or she really likes your playfulness, and then she spends more time with you, and she starts to think, actually, this is a great guy, and then it becomes something else. And that's the way it's always worked for me. I mean, look, but then I have probably dated in a fairly unconventional way. I mean, maybe there are other guys. I'm sure there are plenty of other guys. I mean, when you think about an average date that people have, as far as I can see, it's more formulaic, and it is more targeted than what I'm saying. People will sit down and say, right, so where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? It's almost as formal as that. It's like, okay, so what do you want? What do I want? What's your, where are you in life? What are you doing in your life? And they sit down and say, well, I've worked in insurance for 5 years, and I've reached a middle management position now, and my pension's looking very good, and just doing some repairs on my house. And and it's all very sort of like, they present their CV, the woman presents her CV, and it's almost like a process to see if you guys mesh. And that is completely the opposite of what I recommend and what I do. The way that I operate, rightly or wrongly, is that I am very, very playful. I don't actually give too much away. I don't have those kinds of conversations at all for as long as possible. And I just let things happen. And if the girl gravitates away from me, that's fine. If we gravitate further together, closer together, that's fine as well. And what will happen is that, without sounding hippyish, the ones that you're meant to be with, it will naturally become something more. And the ones that you probably weren't meant to be with will just float away, and that's fine. Because if you're somebody who has abundance, if you're out there, you're being social, you're approaching a lot, you're meeting new women the whole time, then there are going to be other people coming into your life. So you're not going to be so bothered about what happens with that one particular woman. James, yeah, cheers, man. Waiting for the gift of sound and vision. That's a Bowie song, isn't it? It's 2:28 in the morning in California. I am very sorry. What the hell are you doing up at this time? Are you partying? Are you smoking some stuff and watching this YouTube session? I hope you are. I hope you're having a good time. Which comes first, the intention or the girl? I don't know. What do you mean, the intention? Do you mean the intention to get into a relationship? I mean, like, I think, to be honest, anytime you meet somebody, I think it is premature to be saying within the first few months, even the first 6 months, really, to be saying, oh, this person is going to be my girlfriend. This is going to be serious. I mean, I was talking about this with Tusk, because a guy that we know in Eastern Europe split up with a long-term partner fairly recently, long-term girlfriend, and he's out and about and dating, and he met this girl in Eastern Europe, and within the first few days, he was saying, right, this is my new girlfriend, and he moved her in to the place he was staying, and it all got formalized really quickly. And I was saying, to me, that is nuts. To me, that's really, really nuts. After a few days, to say somebody is your girlfriend, and even if the girl buys into it, and this girl did buy into it, so other approaches do work. You can if you want to make something formal really quickly, obviously you can do that. But to me, it just seems crazy. I mean, how do you know? You hardly know this woman. You hardly know this person. How can you just suddenly make them your girlfriend after a few days? It just seems absolutely nuts to me. I mean, maybe it'll work out. I don't know. I mean, but to me, it just seems that, to me, it just seems you need to take a bit more time, because, and this is the thing, right? Like, it shouldn't just be, you're so desperate to find a girlfriend that you will look to formalize things with almost anybody who gives you the time of day. You've got to be more discerning than that. You know, you want to spend a bit of time with her. You want to spend some months with her, figuring her out. And really, you know, even a few months. I mean, is that? I would say 6 months minimum. You want to spend actually vetting this girl, as they say. You know, spending time with this woman and seeing if you guys actually do really gel, if you do really get on, before you even think about, you know, making it a formal boyfriend girlfriend thing, regardless of what she thinks. Because to do anything else, it just seems nuts to me, really. Like, you don't even know these people. You don't really know someone for ages. It takes a long time. I mean, yeah, you can get a vibe, but, you know. Upfront says, Crypto says, just completed your personal brand mastery course. Highly recommended. Yeah, guys, get onto the personal brand mastery. It's on my Gumroad page, actually. You can get it there. Any plans to delve more into this type of content in the future? Possibly. I don't know, really. I did a bit of a detour in 2018 into talking about, you know, online business, personal brand and stuff like that. Whether I'll return to it, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know that I'm the best person to advise people about. It depends what they want to do. I mean, I have people coming to me saying, oh, you know, I want to do this underwater photography thing. Can I make a business out of it? And I'm like, well, I don't really know. I mean, the big things you can make a business out of online are the big three really are sex and relationships, which is what I'm doing, health and fitness, and money. Those are the three big ones, because those are the three main things that people are concerned with and worry about in their lives. You know, so I could talk a bit about how to build an online, you know, dating coach kind of personal brand, because obviously I've done that with some success. Some might say, but beyond that, it's hard for me really to talk about, you know, when people start saying, well, I've got this idea, I want to do this, you know, origami online business. You know, it's like, well, I don't really know. Is that going to work? I don't know. I mean, maybe. The thing is, you've just got to try it and see, basically, is what it boils down to. So yeah, possibly. I mean, there's certainly content I can do about being self-employed, you know, living a somewhat nomadic lifestyle, all of that kind of thing, if people are interested in it. So we'll see. But possibly, yeah. Ian Mitchell says, basic principle of one-itis, never forget this, simply gaming other women and build that abundance mindset. Insomnia, okay. Sorry to hear, man. Just up at this weird Aaron Callot in CA, sucks. Yeah, sorry. 18 months minimum, baby. I get the representative out of here. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, it just seems nuts to me within the first few weeks. You're like, oh, this is my girlfriend. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Come on, man. What do you mean she's your girlfriend? You hardly know this woman, you know. And to be honest, it doesn't seem like you value yourself very much if you're prepared to elevate somebody to the position of girlfriend immediately. I'm always a bit disappointed when guys do that, because I just think, but you know, is there no vetting process at all? Is it just like, yeah, I met this girl at McDonald's, yeah, she's my girlfriend? It's like, come on, man. Has she earned it? Has she shown you that she is somebody who's worthy of that step? And what about her? Have you shown her? You know, why is she so keen to just randomly become a girlfriend to you? It just, I don't know, man. I just think it should take longer. I know someone that is moving way too fast with someone. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we've all seen it. I have a friend who got married to somebody. I mean, look, and also as well, I'm not entirely blameless here, because a few years ago, I actually ended up moving in with somebody after 6 months. So I suppose I at least got to the 6 month mark, but I ended up moving her in after 6 months, and it was a very bad mistake. So certainly something like moving in together, you definitely want to leave for quite a long time, because it is a very big step. But yeah, you know, I had a friend who met somebody and he was moving in with her after a couple of months, and then they got married a few months later, and you know, and predictably, unfortunately, it ended up, they ended up divorcing and so on. It's just not a good foundation. If you're going to let somebody into your life, if you're going to give somebody that proximity to you in your life, make them that close to you, allow them in, you've got to know who you're dealing with, right? This is something that I've started to become more aware of over the years. Because being in a close relationship with somebody, being boyfriend and girlfriend with somebody is quite a big thing, because you're letting somebody into your psychic space. Yeah, man, it's all about energy. But you're letting somebody into your psychic space. And particularly if that person has their own problems, their own issues, and everybody does to some extent. But if you let somebody in who is a bit crazy, let's say, that is not going to be good for you, because suddenly her problems become your problems, her issues become your issues, her challenges become your challenges. And the truth is, most of us have got enough challenges as it is, without suddenly giving over mental space to the problems and issues of somebody else. So I do think that you have to be careful. And I'm not saying this in some kind of all women are terrible kind of way or anything like that, but I do think you have to be careful about who you let in. Because remember as well, it gets put around a lot on social media when people are talking about business and success and all that stuff. And people will often say, the 5 people closest to you, you've got to be really careful about the 5 people closest to you, because that's sort of what you'll become. What you surround yourself with is what you become. So you want to surround yourself with high quality, people, which I think there's some truth in that. Although I don't think that we should be, I think it's fine also to have friends who are somewhat lower down the totem pole, right? I don't think we should just exclude people because they're not crushing it with online business every second of the day. But yeah, when you think about that, the 5 people closest to you, well, a girlfriend is probably the person closest to you, right? And yet guys seem happy to be like, oh yeah, I met her on Tuesday, she's my girlfriend now, whatever, right? It just doesn't seem to me to be a very good strategy for life. I think Troy has great value. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It was an MIT open course. Well, thanks, man. I'm flattered. True, Troy. Glory says, keep dating other women, drop her off after the deed, and let her bring up relationship. Your job is to keep dating other women. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with that to some extent. I mean, look, if you like her, you can hang out with her. It doesn't mean you have to, I'm not personally a sort of pump or dump person as such. I generally like to see people at least a few times, because it tends to get a bit better after the first couple of times, and it is nice to have a bit of a vibe with somebody. It's nice to hang out. It shouldn't. I'm not personally one of these very cold-blooded, like, right, I just want to have sex with her and then it's on to the next one kind of people. I like to form these like mini sort of relationships if it's somebody I get on with and stuff. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, as you say, really, it should be her job to bring up the relationship. Because when you're in a situation where she brings up the relationship, she wants to formalize things with you, you're in a much better position than if you were this chody guy who sort of begged her to be your girlfriend, which often is just not going to end well anyway. So that's really the situation you want to be in. Come and visit San Francisco. I take it you mean San Francisco. Give it the old California try. I'll show you around, buddy. Yes, man, I would be up for that. I want to get to California. Brand creation and management is something I think a lot of us are interested in the digital age. Well, what I could do is start doing like a video, maybe doing the odd a video about it a week, or the odd video here and there about it, and see what the uptake is. I think people are interested in it for sure. But it's a bit like game as well, really. I mean, in the end, you've just got to sort of start doing it and be consistent and see what happens. Yeah, consistency is really important. There is no outer game. It's all in it. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, I think there are some things you can learn about. There are, things you can learn about what the sorts of things to talk about, what to say, what not to say. So I don't entirely agree with that, but I do think that the inner game is extremely important, and it's more important than people give it credence for. Because there's a lot of snobbery in the, with people who are like dating coaches and stuff. A lot of people are like, no, inner game, it's all bollocks, man. You need to. It's all about what you do in practical terms that counts. But I've seen enough guys who don't have strong inner game, who are battling with their own demons, or they're just insecure about themselves and how they fit into the hierarchy, how they fit in the dating market, and they get bad results. And it's not really, and these are guys who, they sort of know the right things to say. They've seen videos, they know what to say to a girl when you go and approach her and stuff like that. But it's just not coming across very well. So I do think inner game is probably more important, really. Remember watching Mr. Lucario's show, and a guy called about his girlfriend. They asked him why he made her his girlfriend. He said she gives good head. Well, actually, I kind of made a girl a girlfriend for that once. We've all been there, but no, I mean, you've got to. You've just got to be. I don't want to sound like overly paranoid here and like some kind of crazy misanthropic weirdo, but you've got to be a bit careful about the people you let into your life, particularly the people you let in closely. The girlfriend is probably the closest person because you're going to be in contact with her most days. If she comes and lives with you, then she's really in your space. She's really in your head, and I've come to realize over the years that is actually a pretty big deal. So it's actually a pretty big deal to have somebody very much in your psychic space the whole time. And I do think it's important to vet that person to an extent, because if she's messed up, it's going to mess you up, because you start to sort of conjoin after a while, don't you? You start to almost become one person in a relationship. Even if you try to keep some distance, you start to sort of join together, and then and again, vibes, energy, all that crap, her negative energy is going to impinge upon you, and it's going to bring you down. And that's, not a place where you want to be. You see all these memes on Instagram, don't you, about like, oh, don't let toxic people into your life, let go of toxic people, stuff like that. And if you happen to get together with a woman who is toxic, that's going to be very bad for your mental state and your mental health. So you've got to be a bit careful. And this is why you need to take time with these things. Does Troy want a wife and kids at this point or in the future? Immediately after the show, I would say. So if any of these women watching, you're up for cashing your chips in, then let's go. Spot on, not good. If she's an energy vampire, you end up screwed. 100%, man, 100%. And plenty of relationships, unfortunately, end up toxic, and it's not a good place to be. It's really not a good place to be. But unfortunately, when you're hooked in, you get reeled in, you get hooked in, and it's easier to get into a relationship than it is to get out of one, right? Like you can sleepwalk your way into a relationship, because the process that I'm describing, which is really just sort of like hanging back and letting her really bring up the relationship and sort of like, oh, so what are we? Are we boyfriend? Are we dating? And then you might say, yeah, I like you, and you allow it to but you can sleepwalk into that as well, because if you are just genuinely, not that committed, and you're just like, yeah, whatever, we're having sex, and you don't really think about it, and then over time she just becomes your girlfriend by default. You've got to be aware of that as well, particularly if she is somebody who's an energy vampire, because then all of a sudden, even if you don't have the conversation, after a certain point, there's almost just this expectation. It's almost just like, well, you're now de facto the boyfriend, and there are expectations of you. And suddenly you find yourself in a situation that is quite hard to get out of. Because if you see her every night and you're texting each other every day and you're locked into this pattern of being together, then suddenly it's hard to get out of that. And particularly if you really fancy her as well, or you're really attracted to her, then you also have that fear of loss. You don't want to lose her. So just be careful in the early stages, is all I'm saying. Money, muscles, game, frame. You become infected. It can take years to recover after being involved with a nut job. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It gets into your head. It gets into your psychic space. And it can be really damaging. And look, this can go both ways. I'm absolutely certain. Men can also be toxic, of course, and that can affect women badly as well. So it's not just we're not just saying, yeah, we've got to beware of women. They're all crazy, and men are blameless. Of course, it's not that at all. But given that this is a largely male audience that we're speaking to here, I'm just saying it from the male point of view. You do have to be cognizant of who you're letting into your life in a close way. It's just it should be common sense, but it often isn't. Particularly when we're young and we're not that experienced, and particularly when we're just very horny, or we just really, really want to find somebody. We really want to find a partner. We really want to find a relationship. Then it's a seller's market because you're a very willing buyer. And it's not good to be a very willing buyer in any situation, right? Because unfortunately, you are in a position where you're liable to get ripped off by somebody. You don't want to be a very willing buyer. You want to be a skeptical buyer. You want to be a buyer who's walking around the car lot and looking at the cars and going, yeah, it's okay. The salesman is like, oh, this one's really amazing. You'll love this one. It's fantastic, and it's such a great deal. And you're like, yeah, looks okay. Have you got anything else? You want to be a bit like that. You want to be not too keen to leap into something, okay? And luckily, that's also the best strategy to have in order to have a girl actually want to be in a relationship with you. Because again, it's this very delicate balance. Because if you're too keen, then in a lot of cases, not all cases, as our friend in Eastern Europe can attest, you can lock down a girl very quickly. But in many cases, particularly in this modern world where we live and women have a lot of options, a lot of choices and stuff like that, she's kind of going to want the guy that she can't get. This is the thing. Very common human nature, really, isn't it? We want what we can't have or what we find harder to get. And guys are like this as well. I'm sure guys watching this, you will know. You're out and about, maybe you're dating around, you're meeting different girls, blah, blah, blah. There's one girl and she's really pretty and everything, but she adores you already. She thinks you're great. It's obviously on. It was on very quickly, whatever. But then there's this other girl who's kind of messing around a bit. She's not always replying to your messages. She's holding back a little bit. And guess what? The one that you want more is the one that is harder to get. The one that's not really responding to the messages, the one who keeps going silent, the one who flakes on you sometimes and whatever. That's the one that you really want. And the other one, who's sweetness and light and is probably really pretty and whatever, great person, you're just naturally less attracted to. Unfortunately, this is just the way we are as human beings, right? We're idiots, really. It would be so much easier if we weren't like this, but we just are, and women are like this as well, which is why the notion of push-pull was such a big deal in dating advice. And when you read The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, which is a great book, and I recommend that everybody reads it. And if you look at the playlists on my channel, you'll see a whole playlist of over 20 videos that we made about the art of seduction, going through it chapter by chapter. Me, Jack Napier, and some other people came on board as well, John MLD and others. A lot of that book really is about what you might call push-pull. It's about pulling back so that the other person wants you more. And as guys, we can find it hard to do that, because particularly guys who don't have abundance, who don't feel that they have options in dating, because then when anyone shows you a bit of attention, when any woman, is nice to you and wants to hang out with you and even has sex with you, if you feel that you don't have options, you're going to want to cling on to that. You're not going to want to let that go. And that then makes your behavior needy. It makes it seem like you have an agenda. And counterintuitively, that's going to make her less keen to hang out with you. You would think that she would think, oh, this is great. This guy really likes me. This is awesome. But because the same thing is affecting her, she's thinking, oh, actually, this guy's a bit easy. This guy's a bit, this guy's just all over me immediately. Like, why is he like that? Can't he get anyone else? What's wrong with him? And she starts to question and pick away at you, and you become less attractive to her. Now, look, I mean, obviously, it's not like that all the time. Sometimes people meet and you just both really like each other, and it's all happily ever after. But I would say more often than not, particularly in today's dating marketplace, and particularly if you're dating, good-looking women who are in their prime and are much coveted, in the days of Instagram and Tinder and all the rest of it, she's going to have other options, and she's going to be drawn to, obviously guys that she thinks are hot, but also guys that she thinks are hot who aren't a pushover. And this is all part of inner game, really. And this is where the inner game comes in, right? Because you need to present to her as a man with options. You need to present to her as a man who is not going to be just too easily tied down. Because also, remember, here's another aspect of this. Remember what Rollo Tomassi says about male sexual strategy. Male sexual strategy, or what men want, really is maximum access to maximum sexuality. They want to spread their seed. They want as many sexual opportunities as they can get. That's what guys fundamentally want, really, because that's just biologically, the male role, to go and spread his seed, whereas the female role biologically is to be more discerning and to, have children, but have children with the best value guys they can get. So the two strategies are sort of somewhat different. But if you're a guy and you present to a woman and you're basically saying, okay, listen, I'm in, I'm happy to get locked down immediately because you're so amazing, then somewhere subconsciously the woman's going to be thinking, well, hang on a minute, this guy's just, like this guy's just willing to jettison his entire sexual strategy for me after a really short amount of time. Again, what's wrong with him? Why does he want to do that? And particularly as well, because remember, many women are insecure, and even if she's really beautiful, she doesn't necessarily think of herself in that way. And so it's like, well, hang on a minute, why does this guy want to do that for me? Hasn't he got anything else going on? Doesn't he have other options? Again, what's wrong with him? Is he the best I could get? All right. And that's what you want to avoid. Okay. Go More Hike says this advice is hitting close to home. Good. Glad to hear it. I'm glad. Jennifer says, it really does, Adam, for anyone. I don't think I survived my relationship. I think what she's talking about there is this thing that if you get into a close relationship with someone who's toxic, it can be really damaging to you. And yeah, I think that's the case for men and women. I don't think it's just related to one sex. I think it's the case for both. You've got to be a bit careful about the people who you let in close to you. It just messes up your head if you let somebody in very closely who is somewhat toxic, or is toxic with you, let's say. Awesome Blazer Troy, thank you very much. Yeah, I picked this one up recently. This is it's a make called Oliver Spencer, which is a British make. I had a look in their shop the other day. I'm not sure I like all their stuff. But I do like this. It's double breasted, which I wanted, and it's got a kind of, it's not tweed, but it's got that sort of look to it. So yeah, I really like it. And they do have some good stuff actually. There's a shop in Soho, Oliver Spencer, and they sell, well, just coats, jackets, jumpers, everything really. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Some of it's a little bit informal for me, really, because I'm going for that more classic kind of gentlemanly look, I suppose. And some of their stuff is a bit more informal. You know, it's more casual wear and stuff like that. But the thing is, everyone's doing casual wear now. Everyone's doing casual wear. Even formal brands are doing a lot of casual wear because this whole thing of like work from home and everyone's on Zoom and all of that kind of stuff. It's there's been this shift in the market where suits have become less of a thing. I saw an article the other day saying, have suits become a thing of the past because of the pandemic? And I mean, hopefully not. I don't think they have. But, you know, having had 18 months of people sitting on the couch wearing tracksuits, doing Zoom calls, you know, things are definitely shifting. So, yeah, a lot of brands now are doing more casual wear. Even a brand like Hawes & Curtis, which I really like for shirts. Hawes & Curtis, British shirt maker, and they do suits and things as well. They are now doing tracksuits. They're doing sweatpants and whatever you call tracksuits now, you know, things like that. Casual wear for home, because these brands have had to move into that space in order to stay viable, which is kind of a bit sad, really. But there you go. So the BG says, the better you get at game, the more hard it is to settle down and be loyal to one girl. Do you feel you're capable? I don't know, really. We covered this one before. I mean, I think there's an issue. So there's certainly an issue when you've experienced a lot of variety in your life, that settling with one person is, I suppose it's going to be harder, but I don't think it's impossible. As I say, I mean, I know people who've hit it very hard in terms of dating and, you know, being a bit of a playboy and everything else, and they've settled down and, you know, got married and had kids, and they seem to be fine. I mean, I think it's just you know, I think different stages of life as well, it's different. I mean, certainly now I am less motivated by just having lots of random affairs with people than perhaps I used to be. Does that mean I'm ready to settle down? I don't know, really, because I was with someone that I was really in love with, and I was loyal to her, and we ended the relationship came to an end early this year because ultimately, you know, we didn't really want the same things. But so what am I saying from that? But you do, you know, you will meet people that you enjoy being with, you love being with, and you have a great connection with. And yeah, that's a lot of fun. That is a great thing, or it can be a great thing. But equally, going out and meeting new different women is also a great thing. So I think, and at different phases in your life, you're going to want different things, you know. And bear in mind as well, you know, it's all very well settling down and being loyal to one girl, but given that at least half of all relationships break up, you know, they end in divorce, often initiated by the woman. As I've said before, it's not just a case of, oh, okay, right, now I'm going to settle down and it's going to be happily ever after. A lot of guys come to me who are similar to my age or a bit older, and they have been married and they have settled down, and now they're divorced and they come out the other side and they're going to start dating again. So don't fall into the trap of thinking, oh, right, now's the time, I'm going to throw him, you know, I'm going to say goodbye to all of this. I'm going to settle down, find that person, be loyal, and it's all going to be great. Because that isn't necessarily how it works out either. And you may find yourself back out on the flesh rampage, as Morrissey said once again. I'm noticing more guys wearing smart trainers on a night out now rather than formal shoes. Well, isn't a red handkerchief pretty typical? Wouldn't you like to stand out with a yellow and silver? Don't know, really. Don't know. I don't really like. I don't like yellow. I do actually have a silvery one. I've got an Alexander McQueen one. I like the red near the heart, Joe. My bloody Valentine. Yeah, I don't know, really. I don't think it's a big issue, to be honest. Okay, well, look, we're on the hour. If there's any more questions, just stick them in the chat briefly. But I think that's about it. Except to say, I suppose to tie it up, it's just to say that, look, so you need the inner game in the early part of a relationship. If you're looking for a girlfriend, if you're looking for a relationship, you need in a game at the beginning, because you've got to be able to stand back a little bit, not go in head first and just throw your heart out there, wear your heart on your sleeve. You've got to have a little bit of distance while you figure this girl out. And also, you don't want to put her off by being too keen, by being too full on. And you need in a game for that. You need in a game in order to be able to stand back and be a little bit skeptical, be a little bit questioning, be a little bit like, right, okay, is this really the right person for me? And if you don't have strong in a game, you're more gonna be preyed on by energy vampires, because you're going to be an easy target. Okay, so inner game is really, really crucial in terms of meeting a girlfriend, meeting the right person to get into a relationship with, because you've got to have the strength to hang back and not throw yourself in too quickly with somebody who may not be right for you. CAD Academy opens tomorrow for new students, where we deal with all of these mindset issues. This is, we deal with relationships, we deal with dating, whatever it is that you want to do. We help you with all of your mindset issues to make you into that natural guy who just gets it, who's just able to walk into the room and with confidence walk up to a woman and have a conversation with her that leads on to a date and maybe more. We want to give you all of that. We want to sort out your mindset issues. There is the course is 10 hours worth of digital content. You also get invited to 10 live Zoom webinars with me, private Zoom calls with me and the group, which will take place the week commencing 15th of November to the 19th. Okay. Sessions lasting an hour to 2 hours, sometimes more, led by me. You can ask as many questions as you want. You can talk about your individual issues, questions, challenges, whatever. Share them. I'll give you direct feedback, much more informal than on YouTube. We can talk about much more behind that paywall, in that private space of Zoom. It's going to be a blast. We'll get other people in as well. I've had John MLD in before, Sterling Cooper, Paul from Apex Mindset, Ryan Stone, a whole bunch of people coming in to impart their wisdom. Also, this is the last chance this year to get on this course. It's going to take you into the Christmas season in very, very good shape in terms of your dating. So if you want to get more girls, if you want to get a girlfriend, if you want to enjoy the fruits of this decadent age of Tinder and Instagram and beautiful women all over the world, then Charisma and Dating Academy is the course to get on. Here is the link. Look at that. Look at that website. Gives you all the information you need on the course. And you can also put your email address in and you will be on the waiting list. And then later on, you will be given an early bird opportunity to enter the course and you will be given a preferential rate. So get onto that waiting list as soon as you can today. And we'll take it from there. What music knowledge do I have with all these younger chicks? I don't know. Well, my ex was really into she was actually really into grime, and she was kind of into trap music and stuff as well. And I was into Depeche Mode and David Bowie and stuff like this. Doesn't really fucking matter, to be honest. I'd listen to some of her stuff, she'd listen to some of mine. Doesn't matter. And actually, a lot of younger women actually, well, the kinds of women that I meet actually quite like older music anyway. And I like some new stuff as well. I like new electronic music. So, you can probably meet in the middle somewhere. Genuine people will respect your space and boundaries. Yes. If I was a chap, I'd sign up. Too sweet. Thank you, Jennifer. Don't let someone accelerate intimacy too fast. It's a huge red flag. That is very true. That is very, very true. And I think that's a good note to end this on. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow, same time, same place, talking about another aspect of Inner Game. And we'll be talking about Charisma and Dating Academy, the course as well. So I will see you back here tomorrow. Have a great day.